Welcome to Shaken Not Stirred. Today we'll be talking about unconscious bias, i.e., our conditioning. Stay tuned. Welcome, especially for those of you who are here for the first time. Welcome, welcome. I'm so grateful to have you here. Today we're talking about our conditioning. If you asked a fish to describe the water that it swims in, do you think it'd be able to give you an answer? No help from that fish. Very quiet, also very adorable. Our conditioning is very similar to that water that the fish swims in. It is the programming we're dropped into when we're born into a family and a culture that says, here's the blueprint, here's what it looks like, now just step on through and achieve your success and your happiness at the end. We are starting to see how very dangerous it is to not examine the biases that we are born into within our culture. There are systems in place that encourage racism, sexism, ageism, all of these different ways that we split society apart and create the other. So check this out. Human beings do have a tendency to organize or categorize our experience so that we may understand things better. This is normal. You've all seen a little kid run up to someone and ask, "Why does your skin color look different than mine?" Mommy, why is that man so fat?" "Gertrude, no, that's not nice." "You'll have to excuse me, sir. She's only a child. She's simply being a non-judgmental, curious observer of her world." We are born curious and delightfully intrigued by our differences. Is that we are built for empathy. We are built to recognize how we are also similar. There are mirror neurons that we have in our brain, and we can understand someone's experience and see ourselves in that experience because this part of our brain lights up. It's really pretty cool that we are biologically engineered for compassion and empathy and understanding. On the other hand, we have these tremendous egos that want to be the most powerful, that want to be the most correct, and we want to be unique. We also all have a deep need for belonging. So this gets back to how there are these in-groups and out-groups that form, and it exists within this unconscious bias. So we are obviously drawn to a certain group that we feel some connectedness to. And the shadow side of that is that oftentimes we're exclusive. And when it's really entrenched and it's been going on for generations, this in-group and out-group, we are susceptible to, especially those in power, utilizing this water that we're swimming in to their advantage in order to divide and conquer. How can we go on swimming in waters that feel so toxic, so divisive, so unkind? So as long as we remain in this conditioned world and we're unconscious of how divided we truly are, and that systemically these divisions are in place, so ingrained, and it seems that the curtain gets drawn back only when there's these huge, terrible events, these tremendous injustices that occur. We get little glimpses of how fucked up our conditioning is. And for a little while, we take time to protest, we march, we write letters, we get all fired up on social media. We even give time for silence. And then, because this is the nature of unconscious currents that drive our entire society, that drive our thoughts, that drive these systems that are in place, it so often just goes back to the way that it was. Initially, this little YouTube that I was putting out was very much focused on the conditioning in place based around that blueprint that's laid out for us. Go to college or get married or have kids, and how harmful that can be because there are many people that don't fit into that blueprint, that don't know what the hell they're going to do at 18 years old, that uh, maybe don't want to ever get married or have children, or maybe do so far too soon because this programming that is instilled and installed in their mind that they're really not even aware of is just sort of, again, it's like this undercurrent that's pushing them in the direction of making decisions from a place of unknowing. There's a not knowing. Deconditioning really does mean we get to drop into the not knowing. And that's why I need to remind everyone listening, it's okay not to know. It's okay to have really big questions, to be really uncomfortable about how we feel or think or believe. It's okay to just be so uncomfortable in exploring a way through that. And it usually means really uncomfortable conversations. Maybe it's a conversation about race, or maybe it's a conversation with your dad that, about not wanting to go to college right away. Here we see the millennial game of life, a game I used to play with my siblings. This one is geared towards the two options that we have available when we are getting out of high school and heading out into the world. You can either start college or start your career. Those are basically the only two choices our conditioning allow for us. And as you can see by what he's shared here, either way, you're not looking forward to becoming a young adult. Not at all. Not when you're locked within the toxic, limited conditioning that is our American mainstream culture. Does anyone else see that there's something wrong here? I mean, there's all kinds of ways that conditioning shows up and creates just sort of this, it's like in The Wizard of Oz, the poppies, the poppies. It has us all asleep. Our conditioning has us all asleep. And it's time to wake the up. COVID-19 has been a beautiful wake-up call for so many people. That's been an amazing side effect from a lot of the difficult times that we find ourselves in right now, is all the things that we believe to be normal, the rush hour traffic, the air pollution, the going to the office and working all day and being away from our families. All of this has been flipped on its head, and it is no longer the norm. Our conditioning has been broken. The illusion has a big crack in it. And this is where we can start to have some wiggle room. Speaking of little fishies in the water, we get to wiggle our way into a new reality right now. I am giving you permission to do it. I am saying to you, you deserve to live your best life. You deserve to feel good in the life that you are living. And if it's not the case, then you have the ability. You are absolutely capable. You are a capable creator of your experience. And though it might be scary, and though you may not think you're ready, and though you may not even be sure of what's next, start imagining. Start believing that it could be brilliant, that your life could be something that feels like you have a choice in it, that you feel empowered. This is true. I believe it with my whole heart, and I want you to start believing it too. The illiterate of the 21st century will not be those that cannot read or write, but those who cannot learn unlearn, and relearn. In closing, from our favorite 80s hero who could not care less about the conditioning of his high school, Mr. Ferris Bueller, let us know that life moves pretty fast. You better look around or you could miss it. Use this time when life has slowed down to really look around. I encourage you not only to take a look at what path you want your life to take now that all the paths seem to be at a crossroads, but most importantly, what kind of human being do you want to be? The content of your character, how you show up. That's the most important thing. Everything slowing down is a gift. The opportunity to pause and potentially redirect is such a gift. If you're struggling to understand how this could possibly work for you personally, if you're feeling really stuck, if you're feeling the deep grief that comes from the despair of the illusion crumbling down around you, this is real. There is a tremendous amount of grief in people coming face to face with their conditioning, with what has been going on in their own minds, in their own hearts, unknown until now it's known. Awakening can be extremely disorienting. Know that there is absolutely help. There are people that know how to do this dance and who would be so thrilled to see you unfold into your beautiful potential. Thank you so much for watching today. Create a magnificent day for yourself. Oh, and last but certainly not least, thank you so much for visiting Shaken Not Stirred and staying all the way till the end. Have fun at your game of life. Make it the improved version. Yeah.